Perfect binding is one of many options you have for binding your book in the lap press. Here's an example of a perfect bound book. You have your loose leaf pages and your cover that wraps completely around your book, and it's glued at the spine. In order to make a perfect bound book, you will need your text block. So these are your loose pages, and typically they're a text weight. Think printer paper, maybe just slightly a little heavier than printer paper, or printer paper is fine. And then you need a cover and a bone folder. You want to know about the grain of the paper. And when we talk about the grain, we're talking about the ease of where you can fold. It's the fibers within the paper. And if you try folding a sheet of paper, you can find out what the grain is. And trying in different directions. When I try to fold it this way, it's really stiff. It's not easy to fold. And when I try it this way, it's easy. So the grain of my paper is vertical, so that when I'm flipping through, my pages flip very easily. If I try it this way, it's a little bit stiffer. Do you see how stiff it is? And you can tell with your cover as well. So you can try folding your cardstock, easy. And when I try to do it this way, it's very stiff. So again, the grain is here, and that's where you want your spine to be. You want your spine to run along the grain of your paper. Now for your cover, you're going to want to make sure that your cover can wrap completely around your book and have room for your spine. So, for instance, if you had a sheet of paper or sheets of paper that made up your text block, and say it's 8.5 by 11, your cover would need to be twice as large as that. So it would need to be at least 11 by 17, but you have to remember that you have a spine, so you need to add extra for your spine. Here, this is not only twice as big as our book, but here I have extra room, so this allows me to have room for my spine. So what we'll do, we're going to take one sheet of our paper, and we're going to take the front of our book. So I want this to be my front, and I'm going to line it up, knock it up so that it's nice and flush. And I'm going to take my bone folder, and you're just going to make a nice crisp score. And I only need to make one because when we take this to the perfect binder will make the rest of my spine. I'm going to take my bone folder, run it along my score line, flip it over, do the same. So I have a nice crisp crease. And then the next thing that we'll do, we'll take our text block and our cover and take it to the perfect binder. And you want to make sure that you do not carry your text block inside of your cover like this, because then it just kind of bows your cover. So keep it nice and flat with your text block on the outside, and then we can take it to the binder. So we're here at the perfect binder. We're ready to bind. And make sure that you turn on the perfect binder first so that it has enough time to heat up, which is about 20 minutes. After your perfect binder has been heating for about 20 minutes, you want to check the glue. There's a flashlight here that's always attached at the binder. Inside there's a little arrow, and you want your glue at that level of that arrow. If you find that you need more glue, please talk to one of the lab techs. They're there to help you, and they can get you more glue. So to put your cover in, you can lift this lever here, and you want to make sure that the front of your book faces the back here. You want to make sure that you knock up your pages. This is the spine of my book, so I really want to make sure that it's nice and flat and flush. And then spine down, I'm going to place it in the binder and make sure that it's all the way down. All my pages are down. So I want to make sure that I keep a hold of the pages in the cover, and I'm going to bring this lever down and in and press it up so I can lock my pages into place. I'm going to take this lever here, flip it up, and look at the spine. I want to make sure that it's nice and flat and flush so that I get a nice square spine. And you want to make sure that you look on both sides. And I think this looks pretty good. So now I'm ready to, I call it shredding the spine of my book. And what this does is it opens up the pages to allow the glue to get inside. So I'm ready for some glue. And typically I hold my cover back a little so that I can make sure that the glue just gets on the pages. You want to go back and forth and make sure that the glue is completely on your spine. Quickly put it down, press it all the way down, press your lever all the way down, adding some pressure, not your full body weight, just some good amount of pressure. And you want to hold it here for about, I don't know, 10 seconds or so. It's long enough, then you can release it. We want to release our book, so pull it back, lift it back into place. I'm going to take my lever and slide it out. You never want to pull your book out. Your glue is still warm, so we really want to make sure. And you can turn it around and add just a little more pressure this way too if you like. Once you've finished with your book, this excess, you can cut it off by hand. Or if you've been trained on the paper cutter, you can put your whole book into the cutter and trim it that way.